that's been in the country that has very powerful history. It's one of hats. And joining us to share her journey with her passion in hat making or millinery is Chloe Mitchell, who is a Kenyan milliner. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome to Ebro Africa. I'm enthusiastic about your story. So let's start with the history before we get to celebrate what's presently before us.
Well, I'm 21 years old and I was born in UK, but Kenya is my home.
Yeah.
And when I finished school at Roslyn Academy, I didn't really want to go to university because it wasn't really something that was for me. Yeah, sitting in class and doing all those lessons and stuff. So my mom actually said to me, well, listen, you've got hat making in your history with your great aunt, so why not go over to UK and just do a few courses and just see if you like it and if it's something you want to pursue. And at school I was really good with designing and taking recycled stuff and turning it into clothing. So it really did speak to me, and so I went over to UK and I did a few weeks course with the Queen Mother's milliner, Rose Corey, and I absolutely fell in love with it. And to expand on those techniques and stuff, I went over to Louise Pocock in the Cotswolds, and her techniques were completely different. She used really bright colours and things, and that's actually where it all began, with the real love and passion for it. So I returned to Kenya in December and started doing a few bits and bobs here, then returned back to UK to follow some more training. And when we got back, when I returned back, we sat down and as a family came up with all the words with hat in. We Googled it. And we sent a list out to some family and friends, and Drop of a Hat came back as being the most popular, so that's the name of the business. And I mean, it's really catchy. People,
and here we are.
Yeah, people seem to know it. So.
At the drop of a hat, even as, yes, your mother suggested that maybe you should want to explore hat making as an option for yourself, how deep did you dig into your history, and how influential was it when it comes to you establishing a Drop of a Hat as your own design label?
Well, we've recently just come about finding out that not only was my great aunt a hat maker, but so was her mother. So I'm pretty much the third generation hat maker in the family.
How did that make you feel?
Oh, it's really cool. I mean, just seeing pictures, because we're digging out pictures now, of the shop that they had in Vevi, and just seeing the hats that they created and stuff. It's really inspiring, and it just gives me more of a, passion to go for it and be able to get out there and say, look, this is what I'm doing. So.
How did you take on the market? Yes, now you've established the name Drop of a Hat, you've started making it, your history has dictated to you that you can do it, but the market is different now. How did you approach the Kenyan market with your vision?
The biggest challenge I've had so far with approaching it is trying to educate people around Kenya to, like potential buyers, to buy pieces that are unique, couture, bespoke, handmade pieces that you're not going to find anywhere else.
Which is a tendency that you have. It's a characteristic of your shop. It's bespoke.
It's creating individuality with each piece. And you go out to an event like Fashion High Tea and things, and you're so individual because nobody else is wearing that hat when you buy Drop of a Hat and things. But then you see all these people wearing factory-made pieces, and they're very similar, and you can almost tell where they've bought them. So.
Sourcing out for material?
Sourcing out for material comes from, basically, I try and get as much from Kenya as possible, with fabrics and feathers. I mean, all the feathers that I've got have come from Kenya, and just birds that have dropped them naturally. I try not to use anything that's been killed, so even the quills that I use, they come from just walking in the tea fields and picking them up. The felts and stuff all come from overseas.
Are there challenges when it comes to sourcing out for a workforce that also understands your vision? Because you can't really take on a whole industry on your own, a whole company on your own. How are you sourcing out for a workforce that can take on your vision with you?
Well, at the moment, it's easier for me to do it as a small thing, because I know how I want things. I know
particular perfectionist.
Yeah, pretty much. There is one girl that I've got. She's been with me since the beginning, She got polio when she was 3, so she's handicapped. She's got the spikes in her legs still, and she was really looking for a job when I found her. And so it was really fantastic to be able to take her on board and just train her to do the stitching around the edges, and she does a phenomenal job at the moment.
So I read something online that indicated that you are very focused on working with those individuals in our society that have special needs to offer them an opportunity to also earn a living.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I want to do. I want to be able to give people the opportunity to do it, especially, you know, anyone who's not handicapped or crippled can go out and do anything. They can clean a house, they can go and work as a hawker on the road and things. But these guys, they need the opportunities, and for me to be able to provide some to them, it's really cool.
What inspires you? Even as, yes, it's bespoke and artists are seriously on the edge of perfection. What inspires you to keep going? How do you create? Do you work with, for example, if it's bespoke, if I come to you, what's your creative process?
You know, lots of hat makers overseas, they like to sit down and design it on a piece of paper. For me, it's taking out the felt or the straw and then choosing what shape I want to do and then doing it from there. I build it as I go. I don't actually have a vision to begin with. So it comes to me as I do it.
How much of your client's characteristic do you include in the story of your hat?
When they come to me and ask for a custom make thing, then I sit down with them and I discuss it with them and see what sort of event they want, what type of face they've got, their hairstyle and things. And basically if they want to have it for just one occasion or if they want it for several occasions. And so when I do a custom made piece, it's pretty much 95% of the client's input that goes into it.
Do you pull back from your aunt's creations? Do you pull back from the Western days when hats were the thing? What do you pull back from when you're looking at history?
At the moment, I'm really into the vintage stuff. That is, I mean, you can't compare the hats of these days to the hats back then.
Class was class.
Yeah. And it's becoming a bigger thing now with Kate Middleton and the royal family wearing it. I mean, you see all these kids, like Victoria Beckham's kids and Angelina Jolie's kids wearing hats. So it is becoming a bigger thing, but if we could go back to the vintage style, which is coming back now, I think that was probably the best style for hats. I mean, it was incredible.
When you're looking at your designs, most of the time you find that hats are more a woman's thing. But you've discovered that you want to expand this space as well, to expand and, you know, offer a lot of products and even your designs to include men as well. Share with us how you're balancing this scale so that you're not only focusing on women, who we always have an amount of money available to, you know, to splurge on our accessories.
Well, men these days, I seem to find them caring more about their appearance, more about fashion and things. So to be able to create like top hats and safari hats and trilbies and fedoras, I mean, I do a few pieces which are unisex, so they go for anything. But with the men these days really taking appearance into consideration, it gives me more willpower to create men's pieces.
Do you feel that you're an old soul?
Yeah.
Because I feel you pull a lot of the echo of your spirit is pulling from the historical investment that your aunts made. How are you echoing that right now with many youth in Kenya not really enthusiastic to take on, for example, hats and buying hats to be more classy?
It's funny you should mention that, actually, because my mum thinks that I'm an old soul. And I like to think that maybe a bit of my aunt and her grandmother are in me and coming out in the hat. So that's quite cool. And I think, you know, if opportunities come about in Kenya more so, then I think the youth will get inspired more. And at some of the events that I've done, like Samantha Bridals, there have been extraordinary interns going around trying to learn about fashion. So I think it is becoming more of a thing for the youth.
You got a thumbs up with Lupita donning 2 of your hats. Share with us what that interaction was like for you and getting to see her purchase one of yours and showcase that on the international front.
Yeah, it was really exciting. Basically, with her coming out to Kenya as an ambassador for the elephants, I've created a piece, well, a collection that goes towards everything being symbolic against poaching and wildlife conservation. Yeah. So basically I gave her these 2 pieces and she took ownership of them from the hotel, and apparently from her mother she absolutely adores them, and she's taken the anti-poaching one back with her to the States. And just, you know, seeing it on Vogue and the Hello website and stuff like that, it was so cool. Yeah. Just being able to say, look, that's me and I'm only 21.
Yeah, I've already managed to get to the international platform. What vision do you have for A Drop of a Hat? Even as you have a blog that showcases the stories that you experience as you're creating. What vision do you have for the future?
My biggest vision is I want to be the next Philip Tracy. He's huge in UK, and the stuff that he creates is out of this world. So hopefully in the next few months I'll take over some pieces to Denmark and try and get into the international market over there. And hopefully one day, by the time I'm 30, which I've been told, I'll be the next Philip Tracy. So
yeah, so time is on your side.
Yeah.
What words do you have for young artists out there? Most of the time, you were very strong-headed, I believe, when you said, I'm not doing this, I want to explore myself in a particular side. I want to see what else I can do other than just doing the traditional, go to university, get my degree and have a paper that will not help me or will not fulfill my life.
Yeah.
You took a different course. And with your mother's advice, you went and explored what more you can do with your design skill. What word do you have out there for young artists who are interested in taking on the market, but they sort of are not that courageous to say, I don't want to university right now, which is good in its own way?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, basically, you know, if you don't know what you want to do after school, then take a gap year. I mean, it's not a bad thing. And just go and do several courses and different things and explore what you're good at and what your passion is. I mean, you can do cooking courses for like 6 weeks. You can do fashion design courses, photography courses. And once you find what you really like, you don't have to go to university anymore, because it's not that big of a thing anymore. I mean, lots of people are going for internships and courses and stuff. And
taking a course that they love and running with it all the way.
Yeah, and you can always expand. I mean, you can go into, if you do a cookery course, you can expand into that and go into sushi or cake decorating and stuff. So you can really expand on that sort of field.
What have you been able to learn in the course of you establishing Drop of a Hat, and what are some of the don'ts that you'd want someone who's establishing their own business in the creative industry or otherwise to be able to be keen on?
Yeah. Basically, with the do's, if you've got a vision of what you want to do and where you want to get, go for it, because no one can really tell you that you can't. It's all in you to get there and manage what you can do. And with the don'ts, I mean, you're going to get failures and you're going to get put down.
What was your biggest one in the journey?
So far, touch wood, I haven't had one yet. I mean, everybody's been so fantastic with giving me opportunities. And I'm sure it'll come soon, a letdown, and I'll be prepared for it. But I mean, once you get let down, you just got to get back up and go for it again.
How important has the family support been in your journey as a young lady taking on a business?
I wouldn't be where I am without my parents and my brother. They've been a huge support with helping me get to where I am with the training. I mean, my mom has trained me to do the stitching so well, and she comes up and she'll sit with me and she'll say, you know, you can do this instead of doing that. And so her, with her design and her dressmaking courses and stuff, has really helped me with that. And my dad's been excellent with business and marketing and sitting down with me and explaining me, you know, you've got to do this and this to manage to get to B and things. So I wouldn't be anywhere without them.
What can we expect from Drop of a Hat in the near future? What are you up to now?
We're working on a new collection, also to do with the anti-poaching / wildlife conservancy. And so my goal and ambition is maybe to get some more celebrities to take some hats from this collection. So hopefully in the next few months, who knows. But I mean, we're going to be working on some new collections that I think will surprise the Kenyan market here, and it will be a bit out of what people are used to here. but I think it'll come about to be the next fashion.
Even as I have the pleasure of donning one of your bespoke pieces, just give us a quick overview of what we have on the table so that we can know what exactly, this is just a taste of what you have. You brought a whole load. We actually had to tug to remove some of the ones that are displayed here.
Yeah, I mean, I've done pretty much over 200 hats since I started.
That's powerful.
So basically we've got feathered pieces. So this is a Kate Middleton covered beret.
Yeah.
So the shape is what she wore to the christening of her child. So I've covered that. This is one of the latest pieces, and it's a lace piece for brides. You can do it in any color, and it's just fantastic. I mean, we used it on the catwalk at Zen Garden Fashion Haiti, and the model looked absolutely breathtaking.
Amazing, I can imagine.
This is the anti-poaching collection piece. So the green represents the environment that the animals live in. The spears represent the machetes, the poison arrows, things that they use to kill the animals. The ribbon represents the ethnic people of the land. The animal print represents the big five.
A lot of thought has gone into it.
Yeah. And then we've got a matte bronze pendant here that represents wanting to see wildlife like elephants and rhino for eternity walking around. So a percentage of the proceeds for these collection actually go towards Daphne Sheldrick.
How much does one hat go for?
It depends
completely.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on time, effort, design. And then we've got the Maasai Warrior, which is taking Kenyan textiles and beadwork.
This is powerful. It's naturally what we would relate to. Did you get this from a Kikoi material?
Yeah, so that's Kikoi material with a beaded necklace. And the woman who wore this on the Zen Garden stage last year looked absolutely phenomenal. Another piece that we've got over there next to you, that I did with a collaboration with an artist called Eclastic, and they take recycled bottles and plastic bags and make flowers out of them. So that's all that decoration.
You're very green conscious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to be in Africa. And then this is another piece that I've just started working on, and these are leather flowers, just like the one you're wearing.
That's powerful.
Hand painted, hand done, everything. So.
How long does it take for you to make one hat?
I can't say how long it takes to make one specifically, but it does take a long time. I mean, between a day and a half to about 4 days sometimes, up to sometimes 3 months, because sometimes you'll go and leave it because it's irritating you and then go back 3 months
The creativity
later.
has just gone out of your head.
Yeah. Or you get stuck on doing something else because you've got more of a passion to do that bit.
Finally, there's an aspect that you talked about earlier, men's top hats.
Yes.
You have one in display here. If you can explain to us.
So this is is for the anti-poaching collection.
But for men.
Yeah. So we've got a bullet on this one from matte bronze, and that represents the trophy hunters. So basically, I mean, top hats are becoming more of a thing, and I mean, you go to Samantha Bridal's Fair and you see all these top hats, but you see all the same sort of top hats. So with me, you get individuality and uniqueness with them. So we do men's top hats and safari hats. But they're very stylish. 200
hats and counting. Thank you so much, Chloe, for sharing with us your story. It's always interesting to discover someone who's got a new story out there to add value and add color into the fashion industry. Even as I have donned one of hers, there are a lot more that are available, and Chloe is going to keep telling the African story from her perspective at the drop of a hat. Thank you so much for joining us. From the team and myself, enjoy the rest of your viewing right here on Ebro Africa.